All right, hey guys, in this quick video, just want to show you what you would do in case you had a vehicle unit that would go in and overlap with its movement. It would overlap trooper units and what you need to do in that scenario. Because obviously in the tabletop version of this game, these are real physical pieces, so this guy can't just stomp on these units. But he also can move through them. Technically, what ends up happening is they get displaced and you have to kind of reposition them back on the board. So I'm going to show you that process and how that works in this video right now. So in this case, the Imperial ATST does have a speed 2 maneuver. So the Imperial player would declare a move action. And let's say they want to go ahead and displace this veteran unit for whatever reason. It's just on their prerogative. You'll notice that I'm doing the regular vehicle move, and I've got to move him up here, and I'm going to go ahead and just do this so you can see what's going to happen. So it's going to drop, and it's going to overlap at least this Death Trooper unit. That one may be in the clear, but these two rebels for sure are also getting overlapped. So we've got 1, 2, 3 troopers that have been overlapped by this, and you'll be able to see it pretty clearly. So when you're playing on tabletop, so what you would do is take the units that are going to get overlapped or stepped on, and you just kind of move them off to the side. So the Imperial player would grab them, they kind of move them over here. These two guys would also get, let me reselect those guys. There we go. Pull them over here. Put him all the way up on that, there we go. He's like on a tower there. I was like, why is he so big? All right, so then you would execute the maneuver with your vehicle and make sure that no one else, no other minis were getting touched, and then you would declare that move as done. And then what would happen is you would then take the rebel player would then take the units that were displaced and move them back into cohesion with one another. So he would place the Death Trooper here to where all of his guys were in cohesion with one. He'd put his rebel mini guy back in here somewhere, and then he'd have to make sure that when he placed this guy down, like let's say about there, it's good enough, and he would put them down so they all have to be in cohesion. And so they basically just, the idea is they're moving out of the way. So they're not getting stepped on. So a vehicle can't just step on and kill trooper units like that, but what it does do is displace them as it moves through the battlefield. Um, and so that's an important distinction there. One important note to mention is that when you're putting units back into cohesion, I could not actually put it where I was touching the base of the vehicle. It has to, when you put them back into cohesion for their minis that were displaced, they do have to go around the vehicle within cohesion of the other units that were not displaced, but they can't touch the base of the mini. So that's one important thing to note, because again, if you do that, you're actually breaking the rules. And then finally, to resolve all the effects of displacement, each unit, because each unit had minis that were displaced, each one of these units would get a suppression token for this vehicle moving through. So again, in this case, let's say these guys had a couple of suppression already. It might make sense for the Imperial player to move his AT up and just guarantee a suppression to cause these guys to panic and move backwards. That may be his plan. Uh, so again, with displacement, you take the move, you grab any of the minis that are going to be affected, move them off to the side. The player that's moving his vehicle would complete the move. And then the player who was displaced will take his minis, and then any of the other players, so the Imperial player in this case, any of his minis that were displaced, put them back into cohesion with the unit that was still on the board, and then each unit that was displaced gets one suppression token. So that's how you perform vehicle displacement.